This is Michael Kornbluth, your host for the Do It All Dad Year podcast. Dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. Controlling our kids with comedy can make our kids great again. And this is episode 17. Do It All Dads versus Spoiled Baby Boomer Moms. I shared this title with my daughter Matilda. She says, "I'm confused, Dada. Facebook makes grandma and grandma feel more involved. And I'm thinking, but their dependence on emojis has reduced them to emotionally tone-deaf, retarded expressionists. Riding grandma marks across the board." Now, a lot of you are saying, why would you open up a podcast blatantly dumping on your children's grandmothers who are happy and healthy and they love their grandchildren? Yes, they do. Of course, that is undeniable. But what I have a problem with, America, is baby boomer arrogance. Especially from the grandma side, because let's be honest, I mean, the entire idea of like an evolved grandpa never really existed. Obviously, we all want that grandpa to read us the same Princess Bride story again and again. We all want Peter Falk as that grandpa who uses like Yiddish sparingly, but it's not like complete overkill in comparison to when the new coach for the New York Giants was on WFAN today. I felt so poor for the guy. They inundated this guy with the entire kitchen sink of Yiddish expressions, such as chutzpah, nerve, coach. Have you ever heard of chutzpah before? For example, it would take tremendous chutzpah for you to draft so-and-so in the second round. They use the word kavel, which means to emote. And then they had this one situation where they say handle. The coach is like, yeah, I've learned the word handle. And then I don't know who the people are on the fan these days, but this one woman, total Yenta from Yenta country on Long Island, without a doubt. She goes, well, handle, like handle, like that means to basically screw someone in a negotiation. And then the coach says, well, I thought it meant to bargain and negotiate. And then the Jewess new version of Susan Waldman was saying, actually, it's really when you handle, you're really taking advantage of someone in the negotiation process and getting the better of the deal. And at this point, I'm thinking the New York Giant coach wanted to like go back to like Minnesota or wherever he had to be inundated with the entire encyclopedia of Yiddish and all in one swoop. Her coach was saying, write this down. I'm having like flashbacks to like Randy Johnson having a complete panic attack when like literally the first camera approached him in the streets of Manhattan. Hilarious memory. Kevin Brown, one of the first $100 million pitchers, he had a complete breakdown in the big city. Couldn't handle the pressure. I've said it before. There is no way that God gave me 3 children to have a panic attack over it. And I firmly stick to that philosophy. Belief. That's my belief. So I was talking about handling for a second. And I think it's appropriate to talk about this right now. We will be talking about do-it-all dads versus spoiled baby boomer moms. But if we're going to talk about baby boomer arrogance for a second, because there was a tie-in here. I remember this story got no press at all whatsoever. Trump was like president for a day. Out of nowhere, he negotiates the release of hostages from Egypt. And I was shocked at the time. Guy was president for a day. All of a sudden, he's negotiating the release of American hostages / prisoners from Egypt. And I was shocked to learn this. Because at the time, I was thinking, when it's all said and done, you would think that Barack Obama would have been much stronger at handling like an Egyptian. It brings me so much joy to recycle that joke that I totally forgot about. So, and it's appropriate to talk about today. And we're going to give a big round of applause right now for the Big Don for bringing North Korea, South Korea, China to the negotiation room. We throw in Dennis Rodman, who apparently, according to Vice magazine, has had his supreme black schlong disjointed from overextension and excessive activity. Not once, but twice. So the worm, North Korea, South Korea, Trump, China, all getting together, big peace powwow. And America, it looks as if North Korea is no longer going to be this rogue nation setting nuke/stress tests whenever Kim Jong feels like it. I pray to God this actually comes to fruition. I have a good feeling about it. So I just want to thank our president for making this happen. Because it is a hallmark of good leadership. It is a good hallmark of, again, negotiating from a position of strength, using our strength from our military. I loved it when Trump said, we got bigger nukes, so we're not really sweating you, okay? And I never once panicked during this process. Not once. I love Donald Trump's transparency. It's something Barack Obama always promised and never delivered on. Because he was too busy getting out of some sand trap in Martha's Vineyard. Looking like a total jerk-off in the process. Taking his sweet-ass time to react every time we had a major terrorist attack in this country. And I'm like, hey, Barack Obama, no offense, but like, I don't really need your extremely delayed Hawaiian time response every time Americans are freaking the F out knowing that massive carnage is happening in our country, on top of cops being shot left and right, that you obviously have no problem encouraging and doubling down on, saying, well, it's the cops' fault that, there's violence in the urban cities. Right? I mean, like, you would think Barack Obama was the co-writer to F the Police back in the day, or that he was like a co-writer with Ice-T, who created New Jack Hustler. So my point here, folks, is what I learned when I was working in the IT staffing industry, and we're talking like 15 plus years experience here, and that is, I heard this great line from Donald Trump recently, Michael Savage, where he says, we're talking about deal making. And he goes, deals are about people. And I thought that was very truthful. And because I think of like all the deals that I've done, I mean, I've done a fair share, where basically it got to a point where after my first year was working as an IT headhunter, I could pick up the phone. There's pre-smartphones. I used actual phones, fax machines, and I can call up anyone twice my age. Someone at Nestle, Amgen, WellPoint Health Networks, get them on the phone, have a semi-engaging conversation, get straight to the point, pitch a candidate, get a job order, and then at it, the blue, literally 15 minutes later, have them commit to interview 3 to 4 candidates that I promised to deliver to them. They'll be qualified and interested, ready to go. So that's a beautiful thing. God bless the cold call. I've talked about it before, but the point being is that in the end, the deal, yeah, like the candidate needs to be good, like when you work in recruitment, but you got to get along with the people you're dealing with. They got to like your style. You have to appreciate your personality, and you can't just be a bull in a china shop. Something I've learned firsthand. And also, you're not always going to do business with people that you love. You think Trump loves every, hardcore Italian American that he had to negotiate with in Manhattan that would make comments about Donald Trump being buried under cement, or to be all of a sudden be BFFs with Jimmy Hoffa. I mean, that's the thing. I remember, and it was a totally true critique of Barack Obama, is that he would go out of his way to act above getting his hands dirty when it came to like negotiation, apologizing for wrongs, and finding middle ground. And the reason why I talk all about this right now, because it really illuminates like the baby boomer dilemma. I mean, the bottom line is this, and now, it's official, folks, okay? The Russian collusion story is dead, all right? Everyone knows it. The House committee has finished conducting the research. Everyone knows James Comey, Clapper, everyone from the deep state intentionally leaked a fake Russian collusion story that this English spy agent, Christopher Steele, had perpetuated. They used that fake story to get FISA warrants, which they use this fake Russian collusion story as justification to spy on the Trump campaign in their effort to ultimately overthrow a duly elected president as a form of a plan B in case Hillary Hammer Time Cankles did not win. Okay? So everyone always says, Hillary, she wrote that book. What happened? What happened? Very simple. Hillary Hammer Time Cankles. Very simple. You and your Hillary bots failed to sell America. Specifically, 63 million branded racists, and why baby boomer mom knows best. Baby boomers had it real good. People from Gen X, we had to live through 2 recessions, 9/11. Pensions is like a relic. We have had to innovate or die. You guys just coasted, okay? In comparison to us. And now you act holier than now. And the worst part about Facebook is that it's made you guys the most entitled, the most lazy grandparent generation ever, which is very ironic. It's like all of a sudden you guys are the Gen X slackers. For example, I banned my parents from Skyping with their grandchildren from one Skype call. Parents are retired in Scottsdale, Arizona. This Skype call had been planned way in advance. Finally happens. My parents, they can't even find the time or show a modicum of respect to dress up for the occasion. My mom is sporting bedhead. Looks like she's been up all night watching Maddow. My dad's sporting the same pair of ashy Adidas tennis slacks from '86. And on top of everything else, my mom's teeth are all gunky. Her shitty Dunkin' Donuts coffee breath is fogging up the computer screen as we speak. So, I hate baby boomer arrogance. Baby boomers, I'm convinced, are the only reason why CNN and MSNBC are still in business. The entire Russian collusion story was invented just so the New York Times could continue to sell more subscriptions to delusional, out of touch, ultra condescending baby boomers. That I think at some level hate the fact that Donald Trump's children love him as much as they do. And that none of them are F-ups. And that they've never been arrested. And that I think on some level they wish their kids would go out of the way to emote and to praise them as much as they do for their father Donald Trump. That's how I feel, and God knows I'm not lying. But baby boomers, baby boomer rockers are the worst. So there's this place called Bethel Woods. It's in upstate New York, right outside of Woodstock. They have a Woodstock museum there, actually. Great venue, very cheap seats. However, what I've realized is that there really aren't that many child-friendly venues that really exist anymore. However, unless you're fortunate like me and you're able to live down the street from Harvest Moon, that's this gorgeous farm, and it's basically like an extension of our backyard, and they'll have some cool local band play, and you'd be surrounded by all the Stepford wives who look like they belong in Connecticut, but they're here in North Salem. But it's still child-friendly, not getting death stares. You go to a concert in upstate New York for a Foreigner show, forget about it. Baby boomer rockers freak out if you bring your kids to a Foreigner show, God forbid, with Cheap Trick on that same bill. When I was there with my kids, you would think that my kids were cloaked in burqas. That was the sort of crazed, death stare, rampant stiffness that my children encountered every step of the way. But like I was saying beforehand, Facebook has turned baby boomers into the laziest grandparent generation ever. our grandparents, the baby boomers, did they use Facebook to justify their minimal FaceTime with their grandkids? It's a cop out. But some words of wisdom. If you ever want to know how your parents really feel about you, become a stay-at-home dad to relaunch your writing career and see how that materializes. I predict massive Trump-type resistance because baby boomer arrogance never dies. So, I had a fight with my parents not too long ago. Not really against specifics, but this is a conversation that we had soon after, where my dad is speaking on the behalf of my mother, and he's saying, Mom wants to spend time with the kids when she makes her biannual visit. Hope you'll allow that to happen. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, so only fake news, Antifa, and remote baby boomer grandparents are allowed to resist? Add value, listen, understand their needs first. I don't think my mom read that blog post on LinkedIn either. My husband, especially coming from a baby boomer, is the least sexy admission in the history of mankind. Next to, I only watched the Super Bowl for the commercials. Next to, the music at the rock concert was too loud. Of course, you'd only get that from my stuck-up English mother-in-law. So Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, I've always loved Pearl Jam, so this kills me to admit it. Not admit it, just to report it. Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam just released his first single in 5 years. It's an anti-Trump anthem, naturally. How else can Eddie Vedder get off Sean Penn and Bill Maher during their next circle jerk in Maui? Play a live nude on the ukulele? Bill Cosby's rep compared the verdict to Emmett Till's lynching. Even Barack Obama would exercise race card restraint in this case. But I'm happy to know Dave Chappelle's cultural influence is being used to promote good over more blatantly unnecessary racist divisiveness. One time my mother-in-law says this, the last time she was here. So if you sense a lot of pent-up rage right now, and I haven't been in a rageful mood. Yesterday I'm professing my love to everyone in honor of the great Kanye West. My new hashtag campaign, by the way, I would hope that the majority of America would catch on to it by now. But the hashtag is Kaya for Kanye. That's what Bob Marley used to call the ganja, the magic herb man. So I understand it's a little inside baseball, but I'd figure at least Kanye West fans will be familiar with the expression, got to have Kanye now, got to have Kanye now. Again, I don't have a strong singing voice at all whatsoever. I don't expect you guys to listen anymore moving forward if I revert to that awful, forced singing voice. Not going to apologize, it's a sign of weakness, but I understand, not my forte. Got to have Kanye now. Obviously, I don't care about alienating my audience. What's new? So, was talking about tummy tucks. So the last time my mother-in-law was here, she will be here tomorrow. She just told my wife that she misses the kids. So obviously, you like to hear that. My mother-in-law did get me a really great set of knives downstairs. And she did get me 40 Nespresso pods for my 40th birthday, which I thought was a sweet, nice touch. I can give praise, and I can emote. But what I have a problem with is the arrogant, spoiled baby boomer moms acting like they're the end all to the be all, and they're unaware of actual self-reflection, and that when it's all said and done, if you were to ask them objectively to give themselves a grade, to grade their performance, guaranteed, nothing less than an A. Nothing less. And I'm thinking C plus at best. So, it is our job here as comedians and truth tellers, and anyone that makes a career in the creative arts, is to pierce pretension and call out bullshit. So I'm calling out bullshit. Sorry, you need to log. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to completely turn off my mother-in-law altogether, but when it's all said and done, you don't use an excuse such as, and this was when we only had 2 kids, not 3, you don't not visit your grandchildren all summer, and have your excuse be, well, the AC in my car was broken. Because at the time I'm thinking, are you telling me that you couldn't afford to sweat off a couple of tons in the process? The AC was broken. Well, how about having your SAP consultant husband pay for an Amtrak? Just a theory. So I was talking about tummy tucks. So my mother-in-law says tummy tucks help with digestion. Tummy tucks help with digestion. And at the time, when she's having this conversation with my wife, I'm thinking, wow, my mother-in-law must really hate her husband. I mean, who's in the other room? Who's like a catatonic around her. She's like literally sucked the life out of him. So he's in the other room, nodding off as usual. And I will be doing everything in my power to block out her tsunami of annoyingness. And because she's like a pretentious woman from England, but she didn't come from money. You know, she's like share a bucket. So she got like the ultra enunciated accent. It feels like, you know, like whenever you feel like an English person is like sipping the tongue without your permission. Maybe I wouldn't be so resentful, folks, if after I got my TV writing break, and she was actually came over that one time. It was during the summer, and the countdown's on, and she chooses to do the dishes instead. And her excuse is she's not really into metal. But you don't marry the in-laws. But Andrew Dice Clay had this great premise, this bit from back in the day. Where he would imitate his girlfriend or wife. He was like, why would I want to meet your mother, knowing that's what you're going to look like in 10 years? That was so funny. Dice is the best. So, tummy tucks, yeah. So I'm thinking, this woman must really hate her husband for talking about how tummy tucks help with digestion, knowing that my mother-in-law's window of opportunity for a tummy tuck was 2 C-sections ago, pre-Rubik's Cube. So mother-in-law's coming over here. Daughter says, Dada, what are we going to do with Baba when she visits tomorrow? And my daughter says, she can't take us to the park with the new dog because she isn't athletic enough. They have this new dog. Drives me crazy. Because, especially when they visit, and then I hear my mother-in-law talking about how she's got daycare for the dog, knowing that my in-laws haven't paid for 1 cent of daycare for any of their 3 children so far. And, you know, I hate to be like a grumpy Jew about it, but the fact that they named this dog Heidi hasn't really done this dog any favors either. It's also like one of those like skinny, like runtish looking dogs. It's a rescue dog. Now, like my brother-in-law got married, and she's into like runaways, and she like pushes dog on them. So I feel like this is the way of saying, hey, listen, we care more about Kelly than you, obviously. Obviously. Despite the fact that I give them 3 amazing grandchildren that they could just like pictures of on Facebook. And that's their idea of lifting a finger. And then there was the one time when my father-in-law, I'm working Robert Half, got 2 kids, after I got my TV writing break, sucking up a lot of pride going back to headhunting. It's like, Josh, I got a guy for you. I'm going to help you out. Help launch your SAP practice. I'm like, great. Get this guy on the phone. Total rough accent. And I asked him if he was an H-1B. He's like, yeah. And I said, you know what? This connection's pretty poor. Let me call you back. Bye. Click. That didn't actually happen. But that was an old school move back in the day because you just don't have time to talk with H-1Bs. Those are sponsors. These are very rough accents. And at the time I'm thinking, like, what was my father-in-law thinking? Like, is this just a blatant, like, insult? Where he's, like, intentionally trying to fuck with me? Knowing that his big-time referral, his big SAP consultant referral, knowing that this guy required subtitles in order to be understood? I had it easier on the time understanding English characters in the latest Guy Ritchie film. Unbelievable. So, I was talking about my in-laws visiting tomorrow. So my daughter, and she asks these questions. I get all enraged. She goes, "Daddy, so what are we gonna do when Baba visits?" She calls her Baba. She's Ukrainian, but like from England. The My youngest son Samuel gets very tense around my mother-in-law. She's not that mobile, and so my wife blames his complete uncomfortableness around my mother-in-law on stranger anxiety. Stranger anxiety. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, well, you know what, babe? Your mom's stupid forced Ukrainian accent doesn't do her any favors. Also, you probably would not have gotten this sort of anger-fueled podcast today that I wasn't even planning on doing if my wife, after I prepared a zucchini feta casserole with a rice pilaf and currants and toasted walnuts, if my wife didn't give me extreme resistance when I said, "Hey, babe, would you mind going to the deli to get me seltzer because I'm trying not to be a perpetual lush and to show in this world to my kids that I possess some level of discipline and that I've actually outgrown past the binging every freaking weekend of my life since I was 18?" And she wasn't going if her life depended on it. So, but so if you're wondering why you're feeling this sort of rageful leanings today, that's a large reason why. So, and for all I know, my kids are enjoying that castle right now. But, so my daughter says, "Dada, what will we do when Baba visits tomorrow?" And I was saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to interrogate Baba on why. This is what we're going to do. We're going to interrogate Baba to find out whether they adopted that new rescue dog to excuse themselves for never taking any of their 3 grandchildren on an extended special trip, like on a cruise away from us, ever. So the Senate approved a bill to shield Robert Mueller from Trump firing him, because if anyone deserves tenure, it's the investigator peddling a Russian collusion tale with less legs than Lieutenant Dan. So again, like I said before, I am Kaya for Kanye. Kaya for Kanye. So this is an impersonation of a conversation between John Legend and Kanye West. Because Kanye West had actually posted a text exchange where John Lennon was saying, "Hey, listen, you're going to let down your fans. You're this huge cultural icon, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't go out and support Trump because that's what you're not supposed to do because, Jay-Z saying it. Hillary's, pathetic gatherings when she made her half-assed attempt to try to become president and failed miserably once again." So here we go. John Legend. Conversation with Kanye West. "You can't support Trump. He causes harm to black people." And this Kanye West. "Dude, you're like borderline Asian at this point. Please. Also, you attended UPenn like Donald Trump. So enough with the fake outrage already. You only wear white tuxes, for Christ's sake." So Snoop Dogg got involved in the mix. Just called Kanye West Uncle Tom for pledging his dragon energy roaring blood-tied support to Donald Trump. So this is a conversation between Snoop Dogg and Kanye West. This Snoop. "Trump is your massa, Kanye. Trump is your massa, your master." And Kanye says, "I'll take Trump over Suge Knight any day of the week." Also, Snoop, your brain hovers above Pornhood hell. Plus, Tupac teaching you how to roll a blunt doesn't make you a blunted genius by osmosis, junkie. And Sadiq Khan, good old Sadiq Khan, who, by the way, Mayor of London, actually has gone out of his way to promote the lifting of the ban on Farrakhan. Definitely the most notorious Jew hater, Hitler licker of all time. Not of all time, but, of recent memory. So anyway, that's Sadiq Khan. This is the guy that preaches, brotherhood and diversity, blah, blah, blah. So this is Sadiq Khan. He threatened, this is his latest threat. He's so menacing. that city's like on fire right now. City Khan threatens Trump will face angry protesters if he visits London. But Kanye West characters abound in Guy Ritchie films. So your resistance to national security, out of fear of offending you know who, is falling down, falling down. This is the Do It All Dad Year podcast. Dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. Do It All Dads versus spoiled baby boomer moms. When it's all said and done, I'm going to thank you, spoiled baby boomer moms, because I would not be compelled to do a better job on the nurturing front if you guys were here more readily. I wouldn't take my parenting business more seriously. I wouldn't be as fanatical about it if you guys were here to basically be surrogate parents. So I want to thank you both for providing the seeds of inspiration for this podcast and for giving birth to me, Mom, because or else my beautiful children would not be possible. And I want to thank you, Rosa, for giving birth to your amazing daughter. And my kids definitely inherited her speed, her sweetness, her brain. Obviously, I've got sweetness to spare, and I got a brain, but wife, definitely more high octane in the brain IQ, which has brain cells to burn departments. So I love every do-it-all dad, every aspirational do-it-all dad. I can't wait to interview you all and have you share your own stories about how useless or how lazy you feel that your baby boomer grandparents have been throughout this process. But there is time for change, and I do believe their heart's in the right place. And I just pray that when the deep state, when they all eventually get the punishment that's deserved, that us as a country could finally unite, find some common ground, and get past this baby boomer fueled holier than now hysteria, because it's tearing the country apart, not bringing it together. We're on the verge of peace with North Korea and South Korea. It's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful, exciting time to be alive. Kanye West is a great thinker, an amazing artist. I'm going to call him a true humanitarian. And I love that Kanye is making arrogant baby boomers as tense as humanly possible. Not that they can mention one Kanye West song, but tonight I will be singing Kanye West's praises, blasting some Kaya by Bob Marley, and having a field day on my Twitter feed, relishing this day, knowing that our president, Donald Trump, is truly making America great again. And in the end, we'll be responsible for showing who the real bad guys are. And maybe then, our country as a whole can truly feel that America is greater than ever. Talk to you soon.